Just remember, you can't climb the ladder of success with your hands in a pocket.
If you want revenge for the bad things that have happened in your life, start with the version of you that hasn't lived up to your potential.
It's better to change your environment than to even do anything else, because what happens is you eliminate all the triggers and cues that are associated with the habit that you're trying to destroy.
Emotion brings out a different side. If it can be controlled madness, controlled emotion, it's going to go into a different gear that a normal person is not going to have.
Many people want to be exceptional, but they're afraid of being an exception. We can't do the same thing that everyone else approves of and then somehow get a different outcome that everyone else does.
Stop complaining about the results you didn't get from the work you didn't put in. The only way to become more successful than most people is to be willing to do something most people aren't willing to do.
If you want to change your actions, the easiest thing you can do is just change the environment. Because if you can do that, a lot of times, a lot of the negative things you have, you just don't get triggered. You don't get the cue for the behavior. It just gets extinguished.
Everyone is jealous of what you've got. No one is jealous of how you got it.
I love that quote.
My God. People see the trophies, but not the training ground.
Everybody wants the view, but no one wants the climb.
Will your belief that you're going to be viewed as a failure by your uncle be the sole reason that you live the rest of your life below your potential and regret everything that you don't do because of Uncle Tom?
Stop analyzing, stop criticizing both yourself and others, and go fail at some shit. Go give someone a good job for sucking at something, because at least they're trying. Maybe it will even give yourself permission to do the same. We find meaning in trying difficult things, not just in succeeding at them.
You know, we'll sit around forever wondering, well, what if I was a dog catcher? Would I be the best? What if I was would I be able to do it? You don't know. Until you say, yeah, I'm gonna take action. Nothing changes if nothing changes, man.
Having a clue is overrated. There's this funny myth that people actually know what they're doing. I've spent time around some of the richest, smartest, highest status people on the planet, and let me tell you, it's idiots all the way up. Normalize saying, I don't have a clue, I'm going to work out how to do it anyway. Having a clue is overrated.
The most dangerous man in the room is never, ever, ever the loudest man in the room. The loudest man in the room is the most insecure man in the room. And that's why they put off so much flashing and vibe.
Failure has been achieved, thank God. Now, the only place to go from failure is to win. You have to achieve failure. You have to take it that far. Nobody wants to go that far. It's too scary. But you know something? I got news for you. That's where winning is. It always has been.
If your definition of success is win or lose, giving everything you've got and growing or learning along the way, then you're setting yourself up for success. I really think the biggest cheat code in life is just going after it and not being concerned of whether or not you fail at one specific task. Instead, understanding the big picture, what your long-term goal is, and knowing if you keep driving forward and never fucking quit, in the end you will succeed.
Well, how do you become confident? Do it enough times that you feel like it is unlikely that what you think should happen won't happen. I'm confident when I go up to girls. Well, you start going up to girls and you start tanking, and then 1 out of 10 times it goes well, and then you do it another 10 times, and 2 out of 10 times goes well, and then 4 out of 10 times, and then 8 out of 10 times, and all of a sudden you're confident because you have a high degree of predictive power when you say it will go this way.
When I had my big consulting job, I was making good money, and I had the approval of my peers and all this stuff. And I just didn't want to wake up the next day every day. And it wasn't like I was trying to kill myself. It wasn't that. But every night I would think, if I didn't wake up tomorrow, I would be okay with it. And so when I knew that that was what I was going back to, if I didn't make this work, I had no plan B.
Use what you have. And a lot of people have more pain than they do pleasure. Don't use it for too long. 10, 15, 20 years, like that's how you end up having a breakdown or some sort of dependency or addiction or vice. But it's potent, so use it. And I think that the insight of enemies can bring out a side of you that you weren't aware even existed, is kind of like alchemy, right? It's turning something that is both toxic and useless into something which is golden and your choice.
Felt like I wanted to be good at everything I did and be great at what I did. And I never expected to be as good as I was. So it would just be such an interesting relief to be able to give myself, to be like, you are going to be great. You're going to have all these things that you want, but you're also going to realize that they're not as important as you think they are. You know, like, you're going to come to the realization where the relationships and your values and everything that you enjoy and the experiences and everything aren't going to come down to those spectacular moments on stage at the Olympia. They're going to be much more simpler than that. They're just going to be those moments where you're being yourself, and the people who love you for that is going to be everything.
Your work-life balance obsession may just be too narrowly focused on the present and not extended into seasons. And so you can have work-life balance where I work for 3 years and then I have a more chill year. And I think that most people think about work life in terms of their split of the day rather than their split of the year or the decade. I think that you can have a much better outcome on both sides if you were to split it up on a longer time horizon.
Imagine, if you will, being on your deathbed and standing around your bed, the ghost of the dreams, the ideas, the abilities, the talents given to you by life, and you, for whatever reason, you never pursued those dreams. You never acted on those ideas. You never used those gifts. And there they are standing around your bed looking at you with large angry eyes saying, we came to you. And only you could have given us life. And now we must die with you forever. And the question is, if you died today, what dreams, what ideas, what leadership, what books, what gifts will die with you?
You know, Mike did my podcast twice, and the first time he did it, Mike was like heavier. He was so chill. It's like Mike Tyson's like such a sweet guy. And then Mike Tyson signed up for the Roy Jones fight. And the next time he came in, he was still friendly. He was still cool as fuck. But this was the real Mike Tyson.
But that was the guy.
That's
because
the
he
guy.
tapped back into that monster.
He found it.
Because you gotta have the monster.
Have to.
A legit monster inside of you that doesn't really live in the real world. Because in the real world, he doesn't work.
That same monster, if you can control that motherfucker, then you're Mike Tyson.
You're Mike Tyson.
There's no combatant, true combatant, that has never gotten to the point where there's nothing left. When there's no physical strength left. When there's no energy left. When there's no speed left. When there's no joy left in that fight. All they have left is the will to get back up again. And they don't know how they're going to pick their fist up. They don't know how they're going to move their feet. They don't know how they're going to take another swing. They don't know if they're going to be able to get up when that next punch hits them in that fight. But that's all they got. So they get up. They get up.
I think if you succeed, every mistake becomes legendary. If you fail, that's just garbage. You know what I'm saying? I think everybody has great stories. Everybody had a lot of mistakes. Everybody have a lot of problems. But very few people listen to you. One day when you become successful, people listen to you, say, wow, you're great. I'm not that great.
Every single person who wants to do something with their life and has done something with their life has gone through the exact chapter that you're going through. And it's the lonely chapter. It's the chapter where you don't fit in with your own friends, but you don't have the outcomes yet to fit into a new group of friends. And you're doing this thing, you're consuming content on the internet, you're doing these free tutorials online to try and figure out how to set up a podcast and where do I host this thing? And then you're going through this and you're like, is this even worth it? Because you have no signs of success, right? But if there's anything that you can take away from what we're saying right now, is that the sign of success is the hate that you get along the way. And what you can't do is bend the knee to their hate and fit back into the conformity because it's comfortable and it's warm.
You have to build a person that can withstand the pressures of whatever they're going to be dealing with in life. And we don't do that. I'm not trying to send a message of run 200 miles, be the baddest motherfucker in the world, but be tough. You better have a part about you that's tough, a part about you that can break down situations and get better. And break down situations very quickly within some trauma in your life, some devastation in your life, because it's gonna come. The devastation, the trauma is gonna come, and you can't allow that to become a Jersey barrier. It can't be a Jersey barrier. It has to be something that you can maneuver through very quickly and move forward. That takes a lot of toughness.
The pushback you are getting is the indicator that you are doing the right thing.
Because they're projecting the things that they know they should be doing that you are doing that they're not doing, and you remind them of that. So even though the mountain that you're climbing is actually a smaller one than the one that you ultimately want to climb, you're actually at the top of their mountain. And so they start tearing you down. So like that's where the underdog story that we said at the very beginning of this with the quote, which is like, on the way up, they root for you. And then when you're at the top, they try and tear you down because you remind them of the dreams that they couldn't accomplish, right? And so you quitting drinking, or you staying in to work on your side hustle or your project or the business that you want to launch, or the podcast, you might be at the top of their mountain. And so they are tearing you down because now you remind them that they haven't done it. And it's purely a projection of them onto you and has nothing to do with you.
Listen to me. It's not what makes it hard is your lack of belief that it can happen for you. The fact of it is, though, it's very doable. See, but you got to change, though. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. So if you're at a place in your life and you ain't happy with it, you have to change some things. But you have to make a conscientious decision that you're going to change. And it's not dependent on anybody else. It don't matter what your mama think. It don't matter what your coworkers think. It don't matter what your siblings think. It don't matter what your children think. It don't matter.
Right, this is a term that we hear for someone that's addicted, someone that's an alcoholic, someone that's physically let themselves go, someone that's put themselves into a situation with their finances or their work or whatever, where they reach rock bottom. But when the excuses all go away and people can actually confront the fact that this is all because of me, and it hurts, but is also unbelievably empowering, because if these problems are because of me, then I'm capable of fixing these problems. So even though extreme ownership hurts and is painful, it's also liberating, because now you have control over your fate and over your destiny, and that is a glorious thing.
Yeah. Jordan Peterson talks about the study where they starve a rat and they put it into a tube. They waft the smell of cheese in from the front, and there's a spring attached to the rat's tail so they can work out how hard it's pulling. How hard it's pulling is a proxy for desire, for how much it wants it. You'd think this rat is starving, it's going to pull as hard as it can. So they waft the smell of cheese in and it runs towards it and whatever. They do another iteration of the study. This time they waft the smell of cheese in from the front and the smell of a cat in from behind.
Yeah.
It pulls harder.
Yeah.
Why? Because not only in life do you want to run towards something you want, but you want to run away from something that you fear. And this ties into the three most common traits of very successful people: superiority complex, massive crippling insufficiency, and impulse control. Yep. So superiority complex, I can achieve this thing, that's the cheese. Crippling sense of insufficiency, I fear the cat. Impulse control, I'm in a tube. There is only one direction that I can go. I don't need to make a choice.
Yep.
Me and a friend came up with this idea of a well done list. So you have a done list, which is the shit I did today, but a well done list allows you to note down. So I got through my training session even though I felt really crap this morning when I woke up and my mind was mean to me. Mm-hmm. Like no one, where does that go? Right? It's not grand or ceremonious enough in order to justify an Instagram post. Maybe you'd be able to tell a particularly mindful partner about it, but you don't even tell your friend. You're going out.
After you told your mindful partners 5 days in a row, they'd be like, all right,
yeah, fuck off. Yeah, you're miserable every day. Like, shut up. But yeah, I think the opportunity to give yourself a pat on the back, like a well done for today. I've written on a Post-it note on my bathroom mirror what went well today, which is my reminder for the well done list. And when I think about it, when I actually do that practice, which I need to do more, but when I do that practice on an evening time, I come up with the most boring victories, the most mundane things.
Now, coming up on Dad's Day, I was asking myself, what's a value that I learned as a child that has really helped me become the man I am today and pursuing to be? And the one that I remember the most, and it was preached to me by my dad, is this: don't half-ass it. Don't half-ass it. Boy, that never goes out of style, does it? I mean, think about it. If you're gonna do something, if you've chosen to do something, whatever it is, easy, hard, if you give it your all and you don't half-ass it, win, lose, draw, get what you want, don't get what you want, whatever the outcome is, if you don't half-ass it, at least you're not going to have to wonder, ooh, Would the outcome have been different? What if I did give it my all? And boy, wondering that is what keeps us up at night. So that's a value that stuck with me. Don't half-ass it. I think it's one we can all take in our hip pocket going forward. I also ask a bunch of my friends that same value question. Go to my stories and have a look and a listen to what they said. Appreciate it. Just keep living.
In a lot of places, people might grow up and not have good role models around them, you know? Like, it would be great if I had someone that was my hero that could tell me how to be X, good in school, well with work, fantastic in relationships, whatever it might be. And a lot of people don't grow up with that.
Right.
And what I realized was, because that was me in part from where I was from, but I realized there was a lot of people that I got to see that were like the sort of person I didn't want to be like.
Right.
And that was the reverse role model. So I could look around and I could say, well, I really don't want his relationship with his wife. And I hate the way that he is using alcohol to get over the problems in his life. He doesn't have any integrity or tell the truth. She is a liar and a backstabber and a gossip. And the thing is that you can actually achieve a lot of success in life by avoiding failure. Like, most success in life actually is avoiding failure. Yes, you need to be able to be competent, but first you need to not get out of the race. That's the 1 second decision, right? You need to not lose before you can win.
Right.
And the reverse role model is you weaving your way through a selection of people that you don't want to be like. And I think that you can get an awfully long way just by doing that.
You can move through life at 7 times the rate of other people by simply changing when you say you're going to make a decision from end of week to end of day. So think about how that stacks up. So it's like, let's say that there were 4 decisions that you needed to make. If the normal person takes a week to make the decision, and then their mind moves on to the next thing that they have anxiety for, and start making that decision and decide another week, decide another week, decide another week. It's a month to make those 4 decisions. Whereas the Superman that takes one decision day 1, second decision day 2, third decision day 3, fourth decision day 4, they aren't even finished the week yet, and they're where the other person is at the end of the month. And like, that speed of decision making, like not paying the attention cost, the opportunity cost of your time, I think it's really profound in terms of how quickly people move through life, in terms of achieving the goals that they set out. Because people are like, how is that guy so young and he's achieved X, Y, and Z? It's like, well, what takes you a month to make a decision, we make in an hour. And then the next hour, I make another decision that takes you your next month. And so like, that's how you can go 30 times or 100 times faster than the quote average person who's overweight, has $1,000 in their bank account, you know, and is going to die at 70.
Work looks horrible. It's not motivating. It's not motivating at all. It ain't like Rocky round 14, he gets knocked down and goes like this to Apollo Creed. It looks like a man being stuck in a fucking dungeon and there's no fucking way out. But you have the fucking key. But you refuse to use it. And that's nothing motivating about that. It just sucks doing it. It sucks. Lazy. Think these people sign up fucking every year to go to convention, thinking they're gonna learn something fucking different. No, you're lazy. You know exactly what to do. Because even me, in my state of, I can't read and write, I knew exactly what to do. It just sucks doing it. It sucks to do it. It sucks to wake up every morning of your life and say, God, man, I'm not smart. So guess what I gotta do? I gotta study the same shit that I got one of the highest scores in the nation on, and do it again, do it again, do it again. It's not just there. It's not just there permanently for me. So yeah, it's all stick. It's all stick.
All right, guys, just finished up that workout, man. It's kind of Saturday afternoon. Too many people there, man, I'll tell you that much. Aren't too many winners out here in the world. That workout in there, no weights involved. Just our body weight and our ego. How bad do we want it? We made something happen right there that's going to transform the rest of our work in the gym. Meaning we broke the monotony up, made our body guess, and shock to new situations. Take that kind of rubble back into our normal workouts. Exponential growth comes. When you do the same thing over and over again, you get the same results. When you shock it up like we just did, get ready for a little bit of a tsunami coming in of success. I don't know what to say, guys. I mean, in all honesty, If you want, I mean, there is no fundamental like secret here. It's called hard work and sweat. If you have that and you're willing to provide that in exchange for a better life, well, everyone will make that deal with you. If you're willing to give up that for pride, accomplishment, feeling of self-worth, if you're willing to make that transaction, Miami Fitness is your bank. And it's open every single day for your transactions. Make your deposits every fucking day. Pay your dues. Become the person you want to be. It's the easiest fucking equation in the world.
There have been slaves for thousands of years. There were slaves in Egyptian times. There were Jews who were slaves. There were Persian slaves. There were white slaves. There were black slaves. Humans have enslaved one another, period. And I like to think of things in extremes because it allows me to think about what's possible. And so the idea that someone else at some other time in history has worked 7 days a week, every hour that they're awake, with the threat not of their own death, but of their children's death, because that's what I would do if I were trying to control somebody. I would take their kids and say, I'll kill them if you don't work. And guess what? They'll probably work. That capacity exists. And so I would think to myself, like, I would try and put myself in that frame so that I wouldn't get into the woe is me cycle and think all these things I could blame for why I'm here right now. Why isn't this working as fast? Like, how is it that these guys are making more money than me? Like, why don't these people give me the respect I deserve? Blah, 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 blah. And just say, like, what can I do now? And then just every hour of every day, well, what can I do now? And so it was, I have to learn how to market. I have to learn how to sell. I have to go to these groups where other gym owners are, and I got to learn their stuff. I gotta go to these seminars. I gotta save up so I can learn some stuff. And that's what I did. And so that's how I got out of it.
A person can accomplish anything that they want. Forge ahead. Don't stop. Never stop learning. Always reach out to better yourself, because when you do that, things expand. You understand more. You're happier. You're healthier. This old saying that if you don't use it, you lose it is absolutely true. If you don't use that brain that God put in your head, one of these days you'll be sitting on a front porch somewhere and you won't hardly know what's going on. So don't give up. If times are hard, good things nor bad things last forever. But most generally, we are in control of our own destiny. And when I say that, I mean this. If you're not getting ahead, you need to do something to allow yourself to get ahead. If you want a good job, if you want a secure future, you have to have something to offer a prospective employer. Now, I'm not saying you need a PhD or a master's degree, but you do have to have something to offer. There's going to be a time in this country that people that know how to work with their hands, plumbers, electricians, carpenters, cement layers, machine operators, mechanics, people that know how to work with their hands are going to be in great demand. Yes, it's true. You have to have education and training to be an engineer or a doctor or a lawyer. But I'll tell you the truth. I spent 60 years working. I was successful. I've started a couple of businesses. I'm a wealthy man, but I'm a guy that came from living in the back of an old car to having a nice retirement.
Leadership is being very uncomfortable all the time. It is holding yourself to such a standard that is almost untouchable. You may not have any friends. You may have a jacked up life. Maybe you have a jacked up marriage. It's being unbalanced. You've literally dedicated your life to a higher cause, a higher purpose beyond you. And it takes that person in your life to understand your mission. And it's totally mission oriented. It's that guy that's like, okay, let's say we're gonna work out at 5 o'clock and I'm in charge, I'm the leader. My guys and my girls, whoever it may be, need to see me running to work at 3:30. I need to take every excuse that they may have away from them. They need to see me outworking them every day, not trying to put them down, but saying, God, man, if he's doing this, man, so when I tell you to do something, you can't say no. You realize, fuck, he's getting after it every day. I cannot say no to him. He's leading by example. So that's what it's all about. It's about, and people say lead by example. It's so easy to say that, man. It's so easy to say that, but to do that every day, to wake up every day miserable and say, God, I don't want to do this anymore, That's when you know you're a leader. When you're at that point and you're saying to yourself, every night is Groundhog's Day. Every single day, you know, I'm going back in the lab again, man. I'm going back in the lab every single day. You know it's not going to end. That's when you know you're being a leader, when your life truly is it sucks. It's just truth, man.
Perspective.
Being a leader is horrible. It is. I did it for a lot of years, man. You have to set that bar even higher, because you have to have something, so you know, for people to look for, people to reach.
Right. You're not going to be successful enough for the next tier of friends, but you're too different from the friends that you used to have, and so that middle path is very lonely. But the good thing about loneliness is you've got time, and right now time's what you need, because you got to learn stuff. You got to get the skills so you can start trading that for more and more money, and then you can take the money and trade that for more money. But in the beginning, you just have time, and that's what you have to spend. And so if you are broke or you are poor and wish to no longer be broke and poor, the first is owning the fact that everything that has to do with your life is your fault. And a lot of people will reject that. And you're right, stay poor. You're totally right, you'll never be successful. You're totally right, I believe you. The next step is being willing to use what you have rather than what you think you should have, or what you wish you had. The circumstances, the connections, the money, whatever. The passion, the purpose, the meaning behind the work. You can wish for all that stuff, but you don't have it, so you have to use what you have, which could be anger, could be shame, could be pain, whatever. And then, as soon as you start taking action, everyone around you will collapse and try to pull you down. And so the only way to protect yourself against that is to increase your own approval of self and decrease how much their opinion of you matters. Which means that you have to be proud of you for taking the step and actively look at their lives and think, do I want what they have? If the answer is no, then do not listen to what they say. And then when you do that, you keep walking, you keep taking steps, no matter how painful it is, and you never stop. And if you do that, you will get there.
Hard work is the goal. And so it's not like work hard so that X. Because as soon as you have a so that, then the X is the thing. But if the goal is to work as hard as you possibly can, then the only real output we have is who we become along the way. And so in reframing that, then it's something that I can win or measure myself against every day in real time throughout the day, which is how hard am I working? Because that is the goal. And then even I say this just for audio, but like everything else takes care of itself, still puts the everything else as the goal still. It's just being vaguer. But if you just say like the only point is working hard, because I know that whatever I'm going to get is stuff that I will become accustomed to. And the, I guess, opposite of the hedonic treadmill is like the resilience piece, is that my ability to work hard itself is growable. And so I just need to keep my RP, my rate of perceived exertion, at 8 or 9 or 10, because I know that when I look back on my life, the days that I loved the most were days when I had nothing left in the tank. And there's this thing that Jesse Itzler has this, and I love it. I hate him for having it because it's so fucking good. But he taught it to his kids, which is they have a little zero, means that there's nothing left in the tank. And when they finish a race or they do whatever, it's like, did you leave anything in the tank? And I thought about that, and the best days of my life were ones when I had nothing left in the tank. And so then the goal becomes to empty the tank, not where I drive, but just to drive the car as hard as I possibly can. And that means that in the beginning, it's just straightaways and just seeing how high I can rev the engine. But as I become more advanced, it's like, all right, well, now we've got turns, and then it's turns in elevation, and then it's turns in elevation without guardrails because we have risk. And so when I think about how hard I want to work, the interesting thing about that is that the only person who can judge you on your success is you, because you're the only one who knows how much left in the tank you really had. And the better you get, and you can resonate with this, you start winning exteriorly. And that's when people are like, it felt so empty. It's because they didn't actually work as hard as they could have. They just worked hard enough to beat everyone else. But that discrepancy between how hard you could have worked to work your hardest versus what was required in order to win, to me, that's the opportunity that shifting towards the work being the goal unlocks for you. And I work harder now than I did when I was poor. And I think it's because I've learned to enjoy it.
Add some things to that list of what it takes to be a, maybe not a good man, but at least a happy and fulfilled man. One of the words you used is brotherhood. And I was thinking about all the things you got from your time in the SEALs, and it's almost a bit of like a microcosm of what I think a lot of men are looking for. You know, that sense of purpose, that brotherhood. And they find it these days in like video games and stuff, right? Video games, I've got no, I cast no judgment on people that play video games. I've played video games my whole life. But it seems like there's a reason we're getting like increasingly addicted to these video games, because they're giving us something that we're searching for in real life and not getting. You used the words brotherhood, purpose. These are things that the SEALs clearly have in huge amounts. Is there anything else that you'd add to that list of what it takes to feel fulfilled?
Yeah, jiu-jitsu. It almost has become a joke amongst me, my friends, people that listen to me, is you got some kind of a problem in the world, you got some kind of problem in your life, go train jiu-jitsu. There's a reason why I say that. Because the things that you just mentioned, discipline. Guess what you need to go train jiu-jitsu when you're tired and you don't feel like it? Discipline. Guess how you feel when you're done? You feel awesome, you get a bunch of dopamine. Guess who you're there with? A bunch of dudes that you can relate to. And guess what you're gonna do together? You're gonna struggle. You're gonna go through some hardship together. You're gonna sweat, you're gonna choke, you're gonna get your arm broken. Like, these things are gonna happen. Not gonna get your arm broken, but you may. But you're gonna be with a little brotherhood. And by the way, women train jiu-jitsu too. My daughters all train jiu-jitsu. It's all good. It's all good. So yeah, jiu-jitsu is one way. Now look, could you go to the rock climbing gym? Yes, you could. Could you go to the CrossFit gym? Yes, you could. Could you go to the
soccer?
Yeah, the soccer field, football field, whatever. Yeah, you can do that stuff. So yeah, go do that stuff. Go do that stuff. That's shared suffering together with a group on a regular basis, whether you want to or not. Those are all little components of being in the military or being in the SEAL teams. That's what it is. That's what you're doing. What does a SEAL platoon do? They train to get ready for go to war. How do they do that? They go to the desert, they carry their guns, they run through little choreographed moves, they get hot, they carry weight. It's suffering, it's just shared suffering, and they're working together. And they're learning skills. That's what you're doing in a jiu-jitsu gym. That's what you're doing on the soccer field. So go out and do those things with other human beings, and it's gonna make things better for sure.
People get frustrated not achieving what they want because they assume that they're going to jump across a cavern in one leap. But if you picture your goals like you're trying to build a bridge across that crevice, and every brick that you put on that bridge is progress, and each one of those bricks represents a skill that you need to learn along the way, it just takes all the way until you get to the other side that you can actually walk across. And so the walking across is the outcome, it's the external perceived achievement. But if you can reframe your progress as, what are the 100 things on this checklist? What are the 100 skills that I need, the micro skills that I need? Then you can have much faster feedback cycles of wins that you're achieving along the way. And I think if you can define it that way, then you can feel like you are winning, A, more often, but B, with higher intensity, because as you win, skills stack on top of each other. And so I give this example a lot, but I like it, is that if you learned how to do math, that's a skill. Great. If you then learn how to do accounting, that's a leveled up version of that skill, but you have to know how to do math before you can do accounting. Once you learn how to do accounting, you can learn how to do transactions and structure deals. And then all of a sudden you can become a CFO. And if you learn how taxes work and insurance work, then all of a sudden you become, and you learn how to raise money. All of a sudden you can be a rainmaker. But the thing is that the gap between rainmaker and I know how to do math feels very big. But if you look at all of the micro things along the way, you might not get your first major deal done, which is what everyone in the, man, he did that deal and made $20 million on one signature must be nice, right? And it is. If you break those things down into the requisite skills, then you can make significantly more progress along the way. And I think that is more positively reinforcing. And I'm sharing this because this has been a perspective that has served me so well in my life, because the goals that I have now take many years to come to fruition. Like I'm working in a goal that in the next probably 18 months, I will have been working on for 13 years, and it will probably come due. And the crazy thing is that the bigger your goal, the bigger your timeline has to be. But the even crazier thing is that the bigger your timeline, the easier it is. If I said, you have to learn French, and you don't speak French, and you have to do it by tomorrow, it's impossible. You're not going to do it. There's no way that you're going to be able to do it. But if I said you have to learn it in a decade, you're like, oh, I could easily do it. You could probably learn 10 languages in a decade. And so all of a sudden, the goals that you have can be significantly more achievable, and you can feel like you're consistently making progress by moving out your timeline. But because people are so short-term minded, because they can't just stop scrolling over and over again, they actually make it harder for them to achieve their goals, because the only goals that they deem acceptable are ones that are on an unrealistic timeline. And so they doom themselves from the beginning.
What's the quality of life? You know, it's different for everybody. But just like success, no matter what field or whatever endeavor you are, and success, whether it's in the gym here, if it's in business, or relationship, whatever success is, the underlying quality of that life runs parallel to a commitment. They go hand in hand, guys. It doesn't matter how much money you have or how much success you have. Well, the overall quality of life is that journey, the struggle of it. And that journey and that struggle is successful only when the commitment rises equally to the effort. Nothing given to you is ever valued. It's what's earned its value that you can build from. So going with these sets, guys, again, it's really about the boat you sit in, the life you're in, what you see in the mirror is a direct, addition, mathematical equation of the choices you make on a daily basis. If you want to change what you see, you got to first change how you see things, how you think about things. Then it comes down to your commitment, your sacrifice, your diligence and sweat equity to see that through. Now, everyone likes to talk this game. Very few want to walk it. Those people that like to walk it better than talk it, those are the ones we write stories about. Everything starts from within, guys, before it's ever blossomed for someone else to see it. Your motives got to be the same way. Everything has to be internal. The internal pride of someone, the confidence, a positive confidence, not the negative confidence of external ego. You're trying to get their likability on third parties. That's subjective nature shit. You can't control it. All you can control is what you do and how you see it. Again, the truth, whatever the truth, undeniable truth is, it's not as strong as your perception of how you see that truth. That's a big thing, guys. If you're doing everything because you believe it, that person goes a lot farther than someone who's trying to be popular and doing it for that reason. The internal warmth right there, coming from an in, working from the inside out, is always going to blossom the fruits of labor more than anything else. Every day is an opportunity based on your choices on how you look at things, how you perceive them, accountability and responsibility of your actions, the choices you make every day. That is what you are in the mirror today. If you don't like it, or it could be better, it's on your terms how that works, no one else's. You have to find the motivation to make those hard steps for change. It's not easy. The hardest step is that first step towards greatness. The only thing harder than that is looking back on your life knowing you could have been great, but time's expired, you get nothing to do about it. That motivation must come from within. Everything's from within that prospers. Motivation cannot be your neighbor. It cannot be the competition of something else. It's got to be you, only you. Beating yourself day in, day out. Not like beating yourself up, but whatever you currently were, you try to beat that measure and grow it and push it and push it. Same with every single set. Growth comes from hitting failure and pushing past that. That's why every set counts and how many reps you do. You have a generalization, a number. Knowing the weight, you're going for that, like when I say 12 to 15, maybe 20. That's what you're going for. So you set the weight on terms of that ballpark, scenario. But it's not like you hit 12 and you're done. You hit 15, you're done. If you're 21, you're done. Your muscles tell you when you're done. And your mind tell your muscles to shut the fuck up, we're going for 3 more. That little lesson in life, man, is congruent with everything in life. When the body says no, the mind says yes, motherfucker. I'm running the show and this is how we're gonna do it. In order to get the peace, the success, the legacy. And so all right behind doors of pain and fear and struggle is where all the beautiful things in the world are found.
Why are you guys watching this video right now? You guys ask that question to yourself. MFT didn't find you. You found MFT. And the reason why you found it, because there's something about your life that's got to change. Something that's deficient, that's no longer suitable for your course of action. You've hit the wall someplace, you've looked in the mirror too many times and haven't smiled. You want to change the situation, move from where you are. The journey is not easy. Before you start that journey mentally, you must fuel yourself with the right reasons, the right fuel to sustain the entire journey. Everyone's hot off the start, but after a month or so into it, or a couple weeks into it, with the wear and tear and the grind starts to hit you, you start losing focus on the horizon, do you not? You get caught away in the daily hiccups, the ups and downs, and the wear and tear. And you focus on the speed bumps, the daily activities, losing sight of the true purpose. When you lose sight of the purpose, you give too much value of what the pain is today. We always invest today, sacrifice today for tomorrow's betterment. But if we don't know what that betterment is, the want factor of what we're really doing it for, we can't win this war, guys. In order to be successful in the MFT program, or in life in general, it's the want factor. You have a capable body to do whatever you want. You have a sound mental, nutritional diet. Now what the f do you want? Once you find out you want, regardless of what it is, then you combine the mind and the body together. That's when life gets exciting, guys. Stories of inspiration where the person overcomes the odds. When you see the good, man, pump the brakes. Put your hands together, man. Give credit where it's due. Remember the name of the person that overcame the odds, because that same person you're gonna use in your own battle one day. When you hit rock bottom and you feel like the walls and monkeys on your back and Murphy's hitting you down every single step, you're gonna use that inspiration to take that one more step forward that makes all the f***ing difference. Let me give you a few examples of these, of people that overcome the odds. This kid couldn't speak. Everyone else in his peer group speaking all good. He couldn't speak. At age 7, everyone's reading and talking, he can't read. He was slowing it down so much, the teachers brought his parents in, man, and said, dude, the kid's gotta go, man. He's just slow, he's not creative, he's slowing down the betterment of the entire class, gotta go. Parents brought him home and he's like, man, what are we gonna do with this child of ours? Too bad. They put him to work. He got fired from every single job he ever tried. All this guy knows up until 21 years old is failure. He's never tasted success. He just gets up and keeps trying, fails, gets up, keeps trying. Until one day he found out what he wanted, what inspired him, and he gave it everything he had, day in, day out, man. He burned the midnight oil, so he didn't have to stay awake in the midnight hours wondering what if. This guy tried something 1,093 times before it was successful. 1,093 times, man. When the hell have you ever tried something more than 10 times before you throw in the towel? I can't say I have. This guy did. And why? That was what he wanted. How was it nourished? Failure. Everything failed in his life. So when it failed the 1,000th time, it's like, well, f it, man. It's an average day. It always fails. I keep on going, but his invention got smarter and quicker. That failure made it more and more successful. It's getting closer and closer and closer. And finally, the light bulb lit. That was Thomas Edison, man. Failure, dumbass, his entire life. He had over another 1,000 patents, man. Remarkable. Couldn't speak at 4. Was written out of class because couldn't read at 7. Kicked home, saying mentally challenged. One of the greatest inventors of our time. We all fall down in life, guys. The question is, who gets back up? Again, it's not the potential of the individual. It's not the genetics. It's the perseverance. The never say die attitude. If you constantly keep throwing shit against the wall, eventually something will stick, guys. Never give in to what you want. When you find out what you want, and you combine that with a sound mental diet, a visual nutrition, a physical diet of good food coming in with good exercise, you build the body, the belief, the confidence. You put that together with a want and a drive, dude, you're unstoppable. Your name will forever be in history. If you do it though, because it's hard, it's an uphill battle. It's a path less taken, not the beaten path everyone else takes. It's a path that leads to character. You gotta earn that. New workout for you guys. Bicep routine. We'll call this workout bicep bragging rights. Now you guys might be like, oh yeah, bragging rights, yeah. Well, you guys are small little dicks. They're thinking that's the opportunity to go around and be boastful and start talking your game. You got the wrong mentality of success. Bragging rights is a right, and if done correctly, requires no words coming out of your fucking mouth. Success should always speak for itself. Success is also the ultimate revenge in any misfortune in life. People that go around and talk about shit, guys, haven't performed it or done it. That's why they had to talk about it. There's a good ego and there's a bad ego. A good ego is someone that believes in themselves, but it's backloaded with performance. Belief and performance walk the same line, parallel each other, champions. The bad ego is when the performance doesn't match the words. They cannot walk what they think they could be, so therefore they make up bullshit. They make up lies about what they've done and what they will do and all this crap, trying to convince the weak-minded individual to believe in them. For all along, they don't believe in themselves. That path is very short-lived. They cannot continue that because they can't perform that. All they can do is talk it. So at the end of that, the end state is not a champion, but a bullshit. Bicep bragging rights. Let your biceps speak for you, and you will have the right to brag. But again, champions, let success speak for them. If you have to talk about the success, guys, you cheapen the accomplishment altogether. The true champions are quiet. The critics of life, these fucking parasites of society, has never seen the crowd from the field's view. They've also never taken a breath of air that's mixed with anxiety and pressure. They know no victory nor defeat, because they never put themselves at risk, they never shown up, they've never walked their talk. So therefore, we tell them to go fuck themselves in their opinion. We don't care what they fucking say. All we care about is people that can perform. And those guys and girls, they don't need to talk. Biceps bragging rights. You guys ready for this one? Again, Miami Fitness. We're gonna tear these guys up, man. And they're gonna speak for themselves.
All right, guys, that ends the workout, man. Bicep bragging rights. Think about that, guys. Bragging rights, the right to brag or the right not to brag. That's gonna be the difference. The people that achieve the small accomplishments in life, they brag about it. That's all they got. The guys that are actually the real warriors, the real fucking workhorses in life, they achieve it. Once you achieve it, you don't talk about it. Because in the achievement, you've learned the qualities of what a champion is. And it's not just about the title. It's about the mindset, the character of the champion. And there's no greater champion than the humble champion. And going through all that work and all the due diligence and sacrifice and finally come out victorious on top, you also come out a more peaceful person, at ease, where you don't need to talk about it anymore. Because you're not doing it for some fucking third party anymore. You're doing it for yourself. And the greatest accomplishment is the way you feel about who you are. And it doesn't matter what they think anymore. Of course, if you wanted to, you could sit down and fucking tear them down to size in a second if you wanted to. But you know what? They're doing it to themselves every fucking day by themselves. By lying and bullshitting and being the critic and pointing the finger, forgetting that three are pointing back at them. These guys that talk what the agony of defeat is or the thrill of victory. But then they talk like they're some fucking expert and they know all about it. There's so fucking many of them. Be one of the few guys, one of the few that walks the land without speaking words and just has fucking crowds of people following him. Look back in life at the leaders that we know, whoever your heroes are. They weren't the people standing up there at the microphone saying how great they were. I guarantee it. Bicep bragging rights. The right to brag or not will be your option. But I guarantee you, once you get to the point where you want to be in life, bragging isn't worth your time. That workout right there is 7 exercises, 2 exercises per exercise. So it's going to be a heavy to a light. That's a yin to the yang. Heavy is going to put the mass on the muscle by putting the demand and stress on there, the load bearing on it. It's going to force the muscle to be that little kid in high school who has ass beat to learn up to fight for himself again. That's going to be the demand. Now we bring in the supply of nutrition right after the gym. But before we do that, we go mass heavy, then to really light speed and endurance. So we're getting, you know, it's like a left, right combo right there, man. Biceps got no option but to get stronger or continue to be submissive bitch and get his ass kicked. Doesn't work that way. Great play, help me stay fit, man. Enjoy the bragging rights.
Life. What is life? What the fuck is your life? Are you happy with it? And if so, it's just the intake and outtake of breath that makes you put a smile on your face? That's something your fucking mother gave you. You haven't earned that. What have you done with your life to make it something else besides the normality of everybody else? The intake and the outtake of what you call life is nothing more than time. And unless done something with, it's forgotten about. There's no footprint of your existence left for anyone else to follow. Life is time. And a life that's remembered, where a footprint is followed behind in footsteps of inspiration and motivation, is when time is met with opportunity and action. They collide to be a life of remembrance. The problem is, most people don't have a plan. And without a plan of your own life, you become the plan of someone else's life. You're not running the day's running you. The differential between those people is belief. One person with belief overrides 100 people with just intent. Intent is thought process, thinking, wargaming it, never putting a foot forward, never putting their face or their name to the fire. Belief is going after and figuring it out along the way. This workout is going to bring that belief back in your life. It's a back workout. And after this workout, not only will you have a stronger back, you have belief and confidence put into action. Life. No longer is your life filled with stop signs, yield signs, and halts and this shit and fucking unauthorized motherfucking signs. Life begins now. If it doesn't begin now, your life is fucking over. Welcome to the Chamber of Belief, aka the motherfucking gym. If you guys don't start believing in yourselves, your life will be nothing for anyone to ever follow or want. You have to believe what you're doing is making a difference, because it fucking is. What I love about this, guys, it's in the middle of the set. It's like the journey of your life. Like you're born, you lift the weight up. Feels light at first. And as you keep going, it gets harder and harder and harder. So what happens is your physical strength has left the building. The only thing left to override the differential of continuing the journey or stopping the journey is the mental strength. And you start to develop that. And mentally, you have a number in your head you're going for, even though your body's physically hit failure. You keep pushing past mentally. 3 more. And when you finish it, you're like, God damn, man. I'm so glad I believed in myself. I'm so glad I didn't sell myself short, because at the end of the day, if you don't believe in yourself, what can you ever expect to? You guys must be the now of what you want to be later. It starts right now. And if you're not doing the now, don't ever expect the later to be the person you want to look in the mirror. Everyone's like, oh, later in life, I want to do this. Later in life, I want to do that. Later in life is turning around and looking in the mirror right now. That's the later in life. And unless that turnaround is something in progression, later in life ain't going to be anything different. Belief, when you turn around, you're going to see something that put a smile on your face. It's going to make you turn around the next day for action. Turn belief into productivity.
Otherwise, why are you in here, man? You in here to grow what? What the fuck are you in here for? Think, guys. Think of where you want to be before you start where it is now. It's too hard, man. The journey's too fucking hard. You guys start trying to follow someone else's path to success. You guys are dazed and confused. You must travel your individual path to success. Someone else's path's already been done. It's time for you to incorporate what you believe in. Make your own fucking path. Lots of work out, guys. Fucking exhausted right now. Oh. And I feel like shit. Worn out. No energy. I can't wait to go to sleep. Seriously, I feel like my heart's gonna explode right now. It's not a comfortable feeling at all. I'll tell you what. The feeling I feel right now, as bad as it feels, is a fucking hell of a lot better feeling than a life where you throw the towel in. That's something you never recover from. Tomorrow morning, I'll wake up stronger. I'll feel alive. And I'll have the belief and confidence backing me up. After a good night's rest, I can only get better. The towel's down in life. There's no more rounds, man. You throw it in. I feel like shit right now, but I can pick the towel back up. I'm gonna be stronger tomorrow, the next round. Life, guys, it's a plan of action. If you don't have the plan, I guarantee you someone's gonna use you as part of their fucking plan. Stop fucking going about the day as a servant. Become the master. Run your day and stop having it run you. Believe in yourself. Be that one of 100 that has a belief instead of just fucking jaw-jab talk of intent. Huge differential there. Differential is somebody just breathing life and the other one taking the most of the opportunity of time of life. Remembrance. Otherwise, forgotten. Greg Plitt, help me stay fit. So fucking tired, I forgot a backpack on. Greg Plitt, we're putting the shirt on. Still though, both times help me stay fit. Have a good night. Wake up stronger. Enjoy life.
You know, and know you're not alone. Everybody I know in my personal life and in the industry that I'm in has faced this adversity, this recession. Recession is a universal term, meaning it affects the strongest of the strong and the weakest of the weak, the richest and the poorest, and everything in between. Everyone is getting hit by this. I feel this situation that we're in is one to embrace and embark on. This is a situation that you will find your true colors of life. You also see the true colors of your friends right now. Everything rises to the surface. There's no more bullshit right now because shit has hit the fan. And who's going to stand up? Once everything else if your foundation, guys, is built upon your looks or your body or the money you have or the family you have, if that is the rock of which you've built your identity from, well, when shit hits the fan, that motherfucker crumbles. And then you're left lossless. You don't know what to do. You've lost your identity in life. It's not until you build the foundation of self-worth, integrity, principle, character, sacrifice, due diligence, work ethic, sweat equity, those blocks that we learn in the gym will stand the test of time. Will remain standing after the greatest storms. Because you know who you were before the success. Those blocks gave you the success. And if the success crumbles, those blocks will still bear the fruit of greater success later. You can count on them. If you win the lottery and you get all this money, you're not rich. You're just about 5 months away from being poor again because you don't understand the concept of it all. You have to go through the trial and error of life like Sam's talking about that he's going through right now to find out what you're made of. This time right now is not a bad time. It's a challenging time. And in hard times, the outcome of hard times, if you make it through, is a better you.
When you start saying things like, I hope it is fucking hard. I hope it's so fucking hard that no one can do it. That way, when I do it, I'm that much more ahead of everybody. I want it so fucking hard, to be so hard and so challenging, that when I get it, man, I reap all the reward. I don't want luck in the equation because I don't need it. You start saying terms like that, man, you're someone that believes it. You got confidence. I don't give a shit what the endeavor is. You're gonna find a way to do it. That's the differential right there. That's the confidence that no matter what's in front of you, the never say die attitude drives you through it. And all your shortcomings and your failures along the way don't set you back, but just gives you a report card of where your weaknesses are and your strengths so you can rebuild that weak chain of life to continue the path to success. Asking how hard it is looking for second place. Saying, I hope it's fucking hard and no one can do it, because that way when I do it, I'm the sole survivor. That's somebody that's gonna fucking do it. Not only do it, raise the motherfucking bar. I have no doubts that guy's gonna do it. That's how you gotta be, man. Before you embark on it, you've got to believe that strongly that you will cross that finish line. Otherwise, it's a race you don't want to enter. Steady, easy go, smooth and steady. That society likes because they don't like too much, abruption or abrasion. Like everything is smooth and steady. Smooth and steady is not the way to be remembered. It's not the way to get to your goals. Life is too fucking short for that shit. It's getting hard right now, Ethan. That should be, a tangible remembrance that you're on the right path. You're on the path of change. You're on the path that is going to lead to someone that you want to be. If it was so easy and everything else, you're on the wrong path, man. That should just wake you up every day. Yes, I'm doing something right. I'm on the right path. Go into these endeavors, these changes, these transformations, knowing it's going to get worse before it gets better. Accept that, welcome that. Just search for that. Because those are the challenges that creates the betterment of who it is at the end. Without those struggles, those pressure plates of life, then there is no molding of the character of who you are into that person. Being a ranger isn't a name. It's a value. You can't go buy it. You gotta earn that shit. In life, if you want to be remembered, you can't go buy that either. You can't be some trust fund baby where mom and dad gave you everything and expect to live a life of fulfillment. No one can give you that satisfaction. You gotta be willing to lose something to gain it. And the process of losing it, the transformation, that process, where you're going for it, that's where you find yourself, man. That's where you really find that you're living. Easy, that's what you're doing right now, man. You're living. Don't be scared. Don't be thinking it's too hard, man. It's all right. It's never been more right. Don't listen to other people. Their opinions should never value anything in your mind. Those other people really are looking at you, voicing their opinions just because they can't do it themselves. They're weak. And so they're gonna tell you stuff like, dude, I don't know why you're doing it. Why are you putting all that detail up in the ceiling? Why are you doing that? Doing all that stuff because as you grow ahead and you get further and further along, you are broadcasting, shining light on their shortcomings. And they don't like that. They were comfortable until you came along and challenged them indirectly. They won't be so manned up, manly to tell you that though. They won't be that honest. They're gonna tell you, man, yeah, you shouldn't be doing all that work. Nah, you shouldn't be doing it. You do the work, and then all of a sudden, it's done and polished and it looks great. And then it's not a shortcoming for them. It's a fucking mile long coming. It's whatever you believe in, whatever you're passionate about. You can make that a career. If it's built the right way,
If it's built with a belief, what you're doing provides a service, fills a void in society. You know, you do it right, and if you're building furniture, every single thing is built right. That furniture's strong. You know, one day they'll sell it 300 years from now as an antique. It's still there because there's value in it. Because you built it. You created value. And what you created there isn't a duplicate. Isn't a copy of something else that's already been in society. Like my website came out for the value of giving back the truth of what the magazines and the commercials and all that bullshit isn't giving you. That you can get the success, but it's not a quick fix. It's a long-term thing that you have to work your ass off for. But when you get the success, you got the world with it. Because up here, we just create it. And the body is just a representation of how pure we are up top. You can create all that stuff if you have value. And when you have value, products sell themselves. When I say success, should never speak for itself. Someone that goes around and says, oh, yeah, I'm all this and I'm all that and everything else. Well, they just cheapen the accomplishment altogether. If there's anything of value, it will speak for itself. You don't have to talk about it. If you build something, a furniture piece of value, because you believe in the craftsmanship and what this thing is, if you do that right, you value that, then they will grow credibility, just like Nike and Prada and Gucci and all these other fucking companies, Ferrari and shit. You pull up to a valet with a Ferrari, that motherfucker parks that right by the door. You pull into the fucking valet with a bicycle, who knows where the fuck that goes? Because they don't value it. There's a name that doesn't need to be spoken. Ferrari. Whoa. Fucking put it right there so we can keep eyes on it. That's nice. A furniture piece. Value, man. Stands the test of time. Boom. I like that, man. Hey, that's a great piece of furniture. I'm looking for a coffee. Hey, call this person. Their shit is solid. Hey, you looking great there, Joe. How are you getting in great shape? Hey, I went to this trainer, man. He fucking was with me every step of the way. We're friends now. He's part of my family. Man, I'm in great shape. My whole life I owe to him. I fucking value. Not money. Create the value. You no longer have to worry about the money. It comes, man. People start talking, word of mouth. Success speaks for itself. Credibility. That's who you are. That's how you walk every day. In the storms of life and the sunshine of life. You believe in something. You're not looking to get the prize today. You believe the journey's worthy cause and it's a winnable fight. So winnable that you're not going to do that job even though you could use that $1,000. At the end, it's going to rob you more than it's ever going to pay you. I can't do that. It doesn't fit my module. Because before I start the endeavor, I built a mission plan of success on what will get me there. And that motherfucker doesn't fit into it. Fuck you and your jeans. You think I wear those jeans anymore, by the way? Fuck no. Because they lost value to me. See how fast that happens? $1 bill and $100 bill made on the same material substance. The raw materials are worth the fucking same. But one is worth more than the other. Perception of that value. Perception is easily destroyed. That's why when you train a client, you give it all you have. Because that can be an asset or a detriment to your company. You fuck them over, don't give them the love or the true information of what you know because you've already done it for once, you've walked it. So what you are is a subject matter expert in what you're saying to them. You're not plagiarizing some shit or coming up with something that you've read. You've actually walked it and proven it, it's battle tested. So what you're telling them, if you don't do that for them, then they go around and start telling people what a fucking joke you are. Nike wants to hire you for that thing, but no, a fucking picture of your dick popping out with a fucking Viagra pill or some shit comes. Oh, lost second. You must see the future. And the future starts today in the way we act. The small nuances when no one's looking. The character that's so lost in society must exist in the individual. And you go after something you believe. And then you never work. You never work a day in your life. You just do what you love. Without pressure, there is no change. And if you contaminate yourself, that pressure will cause your worst fears to be not motivation, encouragement, but be the demise of what your efforts and potential could be.
You're feeling it right now, Jasper, in high school. I'm feeling it right now. You know, I mean, I put this site up there and do magazine covers and this and that, or acting or commercials and stuff, and try to preach, you know, what I feel is correct, what's helped me. You know, like when I feel all that external pressure around me, you know, I go to the gym to create an explosion of internal pressure to push the motherfuckers away. That's my bedrock, man. That's why I go to the gym. Not for the vanity of the mirror, but for the sense of pride and confidence to nourish the garden and make sure that soil always remains fertile. That's what my love is. The byproduct of that is a good looking, you know, healthy lifestyle, you know, someone's in shape and everything else. But that's not what my goal is. That's not my vision. That's not my motivation. That's not the fear that's causing the encouragement to be in the gym. Hell no, but even with that, I preach what I want. I can go online on the internet anytime I'm feeling pretty high about myself, feeling good, feeling like things are going well. I can go on the internet within 5 minutes, find haters out there that are just fucking beating the shit out of me, telling me this, telling me that. You know, these fucking keyboard fucking, you know, heroes. Ones that stand behind a fucking computer screen because they don't have the fucking nuts to actually do it in life. So they sit here and they type their fucking opinion as if I care about their fucking opinion. These people that are these keyboard rangers, right? They've never seen the crowd from the view of the field. No. They've never taken a breath of the arena air that's mixed with anxiety and pressure to know what it feels like when butterflies are killing them. They've never gone out on that limb of life, holding by a thread, but still believing in the cause, and made that leap of faith that made the change in their life. They're too weak to even walk that limb, but they're gonna sit there and point their finger at me. They're gonna start telling me different things, and I'm supposed to fucking listen to their fucking opinion? Are you kidding me? They can go fuck themselves. There's a million of them. Success is first found with hatred before ever inspiration. Because you're parallel with these fucking losers when you're first starting out. And you start to climb. And it makes them feel like shit because they are who they fucking are. And now all of a sudden, you're basically, without saying a word, letting them know how weak they are because how strong you are. So therefore, they're sitting there and they hating you for it. But as you keep climbing, then no longer can they defute the truth. And then they jump on board and look at you for motivation to try to pull out of that hole. Always met with hatred before inspiration, success. You're always on your own. And as Bob Marley said, the real truth of life, the only truth is that everyone will hurt you. It's your choice to choose who's worth suffering for.